بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue inshallah talking about غزوات النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وحياته. And now we are talking about which غزوة, which battle? الخندق, الأحزاب. Both of them are the same thing. So الخندق or الأحزاب, the Confederates or the trench. And it was what year was this? Anybody remembers? Khamsa. 5 after Hijrah. What month? Shawwal. Good, mashallah, people still remember. How many non-Muslims were there in the army? 10,000. How many were the Muslims? 1,000. Yes, 1,000. Yes. We know that non-Muslims were mainly from Quraysh, Ghatafan, and some other minor tribes. They came. That was أكبر معركة تحزب فيها الناس, the biggest of the, as far as the number of the army, the biggest army that came to attack in Medina to eradicate Muslims and remove them. And we know it was hard and tough because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew that's going to be, it's not going to be easy. فأشار عليه سلمان, he got the idea that let's dig the trench. He dug the trench sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Sahaba, he worked with them, and they were yartajizun, they were kind of making an anashid to make it easy for themselves. Every time they have a problem, they call the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, big rock or something, they will call him, he will say Bismillah, and he will break it down, and he will even give them bushra, glad tidings, and so on. A couple of miracles happened where they were so hungry for continuous days, no food, no nothing. But one day Jabir ibn Abdullah, his sister would bring him some dates, tamr, just a few dates for him, and he will share with the Prophet ﷺ what could be sufficient for a couple of people or a few people. And Nabi ﷺ will invite the people of Al-Khandaq, all of them, 1,000 people, a little bit over 1,000 people, and all of them will eat and tamr will stay as is. Same thing happened with also Jabir, his wife invited, talked to him to invite the Prophet ﷺ for food and maybe a couple of people with him. And he came, same thing happened. He invited the entire people of Al-Khandaq, Ya Ahl Al-Khandaq, and the food was enough. We talked about it in detail. Food was still as is, even after all of them ate. But what side of Al-Medina was the trench? Anybody remembers? Was it south, north, east, west?
Southeast.
Southeast? No, wrong. Sorry. North. Yes. It was to the north of Medina, because this is the only entrance. Medina is all surrounded by mountains, with the exception of southeast. That was the side of Yahud. They were living there, Bani Qurayza, and the north. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had a treaty with the Yahud, so he thought he should be good from that side. And what happened actually is, no fight, almost no fight happened. There was just murama, or shooting back and forth between Muslims and non-Muslims on both sides of the trench. But there was no actual fight, with the exception of what we talk about. A couple of people, few people from Mushrikun, they managed to get to the side of Muslims, and they got, a dibyan. They got, a couple of them were killed, and the rest of them, they fled because they were about to lose their life. But something big will happen. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam left all the wives and the women and children and so on. He put them in one of the husun, the forts, but they were not well guarded. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to know about something that's going on. Yahud, Bani Qurayza, the last group of Yahud who still remaining in Medina, they started allying with the enemy. So he sent, to see what's going on, he sent Sa'd ibn Ubadah, the leaders of Al-Ansar, so they will have some kind of respect to them, they will not, to check what's going on. And they said bad words. They said, who is that? He calls, he's a messenger of Allah. No, he's not messenger of Allah. And, we do not believe in any of these things, and we do not have any thing with him, and so on. They talk like this. So they came back to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these people, and they told him, try to tell him, in a way that not in front of everybody, but actually people came to know about that. People came to know that, well, we are all the way to the north, and our families are back. Try to imagine it, try to live it, you know, your family, your kids are back there, and the enemy, you don't know what's going on. You got to know that the people you are supposed to, you know, be safe as far as thinking of them. They're not going to attack you. Now you came to know that they can attack at any point, and they can attack people who are not like, they cannot even defend themselves. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam sent Zayd ibn Haritha with like 200 or 300 people, other man with the total was 500 people. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he had to send 500 people to guard the children and the women in the back, and still they cannot move, you know. The thing is, you cannot go even back to see what's going on, because the minute you go, 10,000 people are in front of you, they're going to attack you, they're going to eradicate males and females and everybody. So you are stuck here, even for prayers. They will not, for some days, continuously all the prayers, they are not able to pray. They have to wash, you know, stand like this. وَلَمْ تُشْرَعْ صَلَاةُ الْخَوْفِ بَعْدِ. Later on, there is a salah of fear, when even, subhanAllah, when you are fighting and the enemy is in front of you, you still have to pray. Even if it's not qibla or anything, you have to watch and stand up and pray. It was not given to them yet. It will come later on, not at this time. لكن المسلمون بلغ بهم الخوف والهلع يعني وإذ زاغت الأبصار وبلغت القلوب الحناجر, as Allah said, يعني hearts were about to get all the way to the throat. Your family, your kids, you don't know. Some المنافقون نجم يعني النفاق وكذا منافق, they said, well, and they started asking excuses. Let's, you know, please give us permission, we need to go. But they didn't even ask for permission, some of them. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't know. وقالت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, he got worried, what should he do? And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam يعني كان برد شديد, was so cold. يعني he got trapped, he wrapped himself, and he, you know, made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Muslims made dua. And then Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam all of a sudden he came and he gave them the bushra, give the glad tidings. Out of nowhere, nothing, but he said, Abshiru bi nasrillah, the victory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is coming. And all of a sudden somebody came by the name of Nu'aym ibn Mas'ud al-Ashja'i. One person, you know, what could he do? He was from Ghatafan. Ghatafan is the main tribe among those Quraysh that came to attack. And he was a good friend of both Quraysh and Yahud at the same time. He was like a figure, a good person. He was a friend for everybody. So he came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam at this point, and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I accepted Islam. And you know, I'm a good friend of Quraysh, your tribe. I'm from Ghatafan, the other tribe. And I'm a good friend for Yahud as well. So, Murni, you tell me, you order me what, and my people, they do not know. Nobody knows that I accepted Islam. So, I'm at your service. Tell me, what should I do? He said, you are only one person, but وَلَكِنْ خَذِّلْ عَنَّا. Try to divert their attention somehow, do anything to take them away from us. وسبحان الله ببعض ذكاء قليل أو حتى يعني كثير سبحان الله من الحكمة الإلهية, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pours some wisdom on that person, where he will make a very nice trick. He will go first to Bani Qurayza, and he will say, Yahud, he said, you know, تعلمون ودي لكم, you know how I'm, you know, a friend of yours, and we are friends and so on, and I'm إني محدثكم شيئا فاكتموه عني. I have a secret to tell you, but just keep it secret, don't tell anybody. They said, what? They said, well, I care for you. These guys, everybody, including even my tribe and Quraysh, they coming to attack this man in here. If they win, well, they fine, they get what they want. If not, they don't have their families, they have their home far away, and they will go back, not losing nothing, or maybe losing a little. But now you are allying with them. And you know how they ally with them? The other Yahud who started all of this, the leader of them, Huyay ibn Akhtab, he came to the leader of this Yahud, Asad ibn Ka'b, and he, you know, زين له الغدر وكذا, he beautified, you know, you ally with us and the other guys and stuff. But now Nu'aym, he made this trick. He said, well, this is what you should do. They said, tell us what to do. He said, what you should do is, because you're not as safe as the other guys, you're not as safe as Quraysh, they will go back and leave you to face Muhammad and his people by yourself. They said, yeah, what should we do? He said, well, you send some people for Quraysh to ask them for captives. They should give you some people, some of them to stay with you, so you be sure that they will not go and leave you alone. And he said, you know what, just ask them to give you the leaders, some of their leaders, to stay with you, so you'll be safe. They said, well, we will do that. And he went to Quraysh, the other group, and he said, you know what, I came to, you know how I'm a friend for you, same thing, you know how I'm a friend of yours, and I care for you, and so on, and I have a secret for you, but just keep it secret. They said what? They said, إِنَّ يَهُودْ قَدْ نَدِمُوا. The Bani Qurayza, the Yahud, they regretted that they allied with you, and now they sent to Muhammad ﷺ, and they said, we are ready to, get back to this peace treaty with you, and we will send to Quraysh to get some captives and give them to you. Just like, so it will be good again, as you used to do, to know that we are loyal to you back as we used to do. So he said, well, if they ask you for captives, do not give them, because this is what's going to happen. If they ask you for some of you to stay with them, do not give them. And what happened is Quraysh, they were, thinking to check out what's going on. So they sent Abu Sufyan and some other people to Bani Qurayza. And they said, well, we got to get ready to fight. Let's come on and join us. They said, well, today is Saturday, and all the trouble that we have already because we did not listen to the order of God, not respecting Saturday from before, because Saturday is the sacred day for Yahud. And also we have to take some of you, just to be sure. We have to take some of you, give us some of you to stay with us until everything is over, so we make sure that you're not going to go and leave us. They said, well, yeah, Nu'aym has said the truth. They didn't say it to them, but they said, yeah, that's what Nu'aym said exactly. They came to know that these guys are, nadimu wa kada. And Quraysh, the envoy of Quraysh came back, and they sent back to them and said, we're not going to send you anybody, and if you are willing to come fight with us, just join us now. So Yahud also said, well, yeah, Nu'aym has said the truth. They don't want to give us anybody, so that means they are going to leave us alone. ويعني بهذه المسألة أو الخدعة فت في عرضهم وبدأ الشقاق وكذا. They started disagreeing and so on. Add to this that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent very severe cold on them and very severe wind. كفأت قدورهم وابتلعت خيامهم. It was enough, very severe wind that took their tents out and put them in a miserable condition. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was trying to find out what's going on. He sent Hudayfa to check what's going on the other side. It was in the middle of the night, or very dark, and he came to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said that they are planning to leave. That was the good news. Next day morning, Muslims look at the other side, nobody is there. All the enemies, the 10,000 people are gone. So subhanallah, كما قال عز وجل ورد الله الذين كفروا بغيظهم لم ينالوا خيرا وكفى الله المؤمنين القتال وكان الله قويا عزيزا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defeated and sent back the kafirin, those who disbelieved, بغيظهم, with full of rage. They didn't get anything, they couldn't do anything. They were not ready to stay. They stayed for a month. It started in Shawwal, month of Shawwal, all the way to Dhul Qa'dah. And they didn't have sufficient provision, food. They were not coming to stay for a month. They were coming to stay maybe for a week or 2 weeks. So, plus the wind, plus all of these things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala رَدَّهُمْ بِغَيْظِهِمْ لَمْ يَنَالُوا خَيْرًا. They didn't get anything good. They didn't get what they're looking for. وَكَفَى اللَّهُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ الْقِتَالَ. Allah suffices the believers to fight for anything. Nothing happened. The total, not losses, but casualties, if you wish, or so, 10 were killed from the mushrikun and 6 from the Muslims. That happened between, or as a result of the shootings on both sides. وكان فشل هذه القوات بمجموعها يعني أن الطوائف الصغيرة والقبائل الأخرى الصغيرة لن تجرؤ. يعني إذا أتى 10,000 مقاتل وفشلوا فكان هذا كأنه نصر يعني. Even though no fight happened, but 10,000 people, the biggest army ever in Arabia, coming to attack Muslims, and they failed, that was a very positive sign for Muslims that, little tribes, as we mentioned before, little tribes used to play tricks and stuff on the Muslims. They said, well, send us some people to teach Islam, and then they kill them. That means nobody will dare to do any of these silly things anymore, because the 10,000 people failed to gain anything against Muslims. فلم يجترئ أحد على المسلمين بعد ذلك وحتى أخبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال الآن نغزوهم ولا يغزونا. From now on, They're not going to attack us anymore. We will go to them. And a few years after that, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will conquer or liberate Mecca actually, and all the coming years will be completely towards the Muslims and the gain of Muslims. يعني هكذا نجى الله عز وجل المؤمنين من هذه الجموع الغفيرة. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rescued Muslims from that big army, and we see there was a little duty or job to be done right after Quraysh are gone, but Yahud are still there and they allied with the Mushrikun, so something should be done to them. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will decide what he will do. Actually, he will receive the wahy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what should he do, and this is what we will discuss next, inshallah, next time. Jazakumullahu khair wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi.